Welcome to Interviewing 101 from UNCG Career and Professional Development. Our office is located on the bottom floor of the EUC in suite number 1, and Chick-fil-A is right next to us. In this presentation, we'll cover best practices for interviews, including how to prepare and do research, how to prep for virtual interviews, common question topics to always prepare for, including behavioral-based questions, what questions to ask the interviewers, and how to do follow-up. When you're in an interview, the interviewers want to know about you, including your experiences, skills, and goals, but they also want to know that you're self-aware and can identify your strengths and opportunities while showcasing your personality. If you have not already, exploring what top values, interests, and strengths can help you then connect those to what you'd be doing in that role or organization. Research the organization by diving a little deeper than just their main website by seeing if they have publications, news articles, new initiatives, and other unique points other organizations may not have. Practice is always great to do. It's important to gain that verbal muscle memory, especially before you enter a more anxiety-inducing environment like an interview. Practice questions with a friend, a career coach, or on Big Interview, our virtual practice interview site. Before the interview, research is definitely something that you want to do. Not only researching the organization's mission, values, and goals, but also look up the people that you will be interviewing with, either on their staff page or on LinkedIn. See if they have commonalities to you, like degree types or experience. Know where you're going. This can help alleviate anxiety that you don't need on the day of the interview. Drive there ahead of time or drive there early to make sure that you know where you're going and parking. Bring anything you would need, especially if it's a longer interview day, such as snacks, water, any medications you may need, comfortable shoes to change into, copies of your resume, notepad and pens, or a portfolio if applicable. Preparation should be generally the same for virtual interviews, but make sure to be conscious of noise in the background of your video. Make sure your audio and video settings are set up for that platform that you'll be using, and log in about 5 minutes prior to the start of your virtual interview. Common questions like "tell me about yourself," "why are you interested in the role or organization," are always something to prepare for. For "tell me about yourself," include a bit about your background, how you got interested in the field, something about what you're working on involved currently, and how this role would fit into your next step goals. For the role, tie in any relevant skills or experiences that you could directly use in this job. For the organization, tie in things that you've researched about them and how your own goals or values align with theirs. For strengths, always make sure not to stop at just stating your strength, but give a short example of how you use it. For weaknesses, be truthful about something that does not come as naturally to you, but also give an example of a strategy that has helped you get better at that weakness. Behavioral-based or situational-based questions require a very specific example in your response. These questions often begin with "tell me about a time when," or "give me an example of," and can frequently center around themes of leadership, teamwork, and conflict resolution. Take some time before the interview to reflect on situations you may have already been through in work, school, group projects, or other times you may have dealt with people or conflicts. Responses to behavioral-based questions can be structured using the STAR method. First, set up the situation, explain the task or the issue that you faced, what action did you take, and what was the end result of doing that. This will help your response be detailed but concise, and it'll also walk the interviewer through the situation from start to finish. This is an example of a STAR method response to a behavioral-based question. This past summer, I completed an internship with the YMCA Youth Programs Department where I worked on a team of 4 counselors to plan out sports and arts camp activities for students ages 8 to 12. We were tasked with creating activity proposals by the end of our first week. Since we had so many different ideas, I took the initiative to ask each person what part of the proposal they would like to complete. We split up the work with one person taking notes, one organizing the information into documents, one creating drafts for arts, and one creating drafts for sports. We scheduled check-ins with one another as we completed our tasks, then compiled our information into a final document to give to our supervisor of what our planned activities were. Our supervisor was pleased with how organized and detailed our proposal was, and ultimately we were able to carry out our planned activities. Our campers had a great time. Once the interviewer is done asking you their questions, they will then ask whether you have any questions for them. It's always good to have 3 to 5 questions prepared. Some common topics to ask them about could include, what is their management and communication style? What do they enjoy most or find most challenging about their role? Asking about professional development, opportunities, and feedback systems, which are also helpful to understand what type of support you would get in the role. In closing, make sure they go over any timelines for hearing back and what the next steps are. Always send the people who interviewed you a thank you email within 24 hours of your interview to reiterate your gratitude for spending time talking more about the position. Remember, you are qualified and they wouldn't have invited you to the interview if they didn't think you could actually perform the job. As we wrap up, just a reminder that you can schedule a virtual or in-person practice interview with a career coach through Handshake. You also have access to Big Interview to practice virtual interviewing with countless questions and resources they offer. CPD is open throughout the entire year. Reach out to us if you have any additional questions, and thank you so much for listening.